Fadda Abu Bilal.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
The khutbah you gave last week, you talked about the dropping of the ball. What I found was I couldn't find anything other than it was what, 1901, something like that when it started, or I might be too early. But I couldn't find anything like any Christian background or Jewish. Like I didn't find
Just
anything.
keep looking.
Keep looking.
Yeah. Why it's in Times Square? That's first and foremost. Where was it before in Times Square?
I couldn't.
There's a religious origin to it, let alone the significance of the ball and it being lit up. Wallahu alam.
AY, London, UK. Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz. How long should a Muslim expect to wait to be back to normal if they sadly soiled their minds and ruined their bodies with internet pornography and fahisha? Jazakallah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully preserve our Islamic identity. Ameen.
How long should can it be normal?
Expect to be back.
How long or when can a Muslim expect to be back after being soiled and stained by internet fahisha? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, nor do I wish to be pessimistic or to cause anyone to despair and give up and quit. However, the sad reality of it is it possible for a Muslim, Allahul Mustaan, to have watched the fawahish on the internet for years out of his life or her life and return absolutely normal? Maybe it is. Now, and I didn't say that it's impossible to stop or quit. Nor did I say it's impossible for a person to rehab and I never said that. But is it impossible for you to walk away with no what? Scratches and scars and cuts. Hence, normal. So if a person systematically looked at the fahisha online, can they walk away with a sound, normal mind? Maybe. Allah's mercy is greater than anything we can think of. And I'm not saying this specifically for the questioner to cause that person to lose hope, but I'm trying to show and warn against the evil of it. So me personally, and Allah knows best, I've never seen a drug addict for years out of their lives, abusing drugs, walk away absolutely normal. I've seen people rehab. I know many. I've seen people fight and struggle, and alhamdulillah, Allah bless them to be clean. But I've never seen them what? Absolutely unscathed, unscarred. I've never seen that. And that's just common sense. How can you do something which is so harmful, so extreme, so fast-paced for a long time, and then just what? Turn it off. Allahu Alam. So therefore, if a Muslim is addicted to watching fawahish online, and they've been tested with that, they make tawbah, they walk away, they make istighfar, they fast, they get married, they try their best, they do as much as they can, the good deeds, and you have to keep fighting forever. And as a wise man say, vigilance, constant vigilance is the price of freedom. You want to be free, you want to be clean, you have to be on guard and on watch what? There is no normal afterwards. I smoked heroin for 10 years out of my life, 20 years. I was on this drug. You don't have a normal day. Every single day of you being clean and sober is a day of you being conscientious, focused. Hence, the mentoring program. You have to take other people under your wing, and you have to constantly be on top of them, and that allows you to be, and that, subhanAllah, is the benefit of giving da'wah. By you being engaged in teaching others, it should be, you should always be sharp, because there is no day off. I got to be sharp. I got to be on point. I have the khutbah to do every week. There is no let me slacken and get rusty. Right? So that's my advice. And if a person hasn't been tested with that filth, Allahul Mustaan, stay far away from it. Because it's a very unforgiving addiction. Extremely unforgiving. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. تفضل.
Is it more correct to say alayhi salam upon the Prophet's family instead of radiallahu anhu?
Whenever you mention the Prophet's family, it's lawful to say alayhi salam or alayhi salam. However, one should say radiyallahu an, radiyallahu anha, radiyallahu anhum. And not to specifically point them out and pick them out with that statement, alayhi salam, nobody else. Such as when Ali's name is mentioned, the person says alayhi salam, and that's it. Abadan. You say alayhi salam for Abu Bakr as well, no problem. But picking out and singling out only Ali, only Fatima, that should, no. Wallahu a'lam. Wa fikum barakallah.
SR, Minneapolis, Minnesota. How fast should we increase our good deeds? Meaning, should we pray more or first get used to praying a certain amount, then increase?
How fast or what speed should you go at in doing your good deeds with regards to extra prayers, etc.? You pace yourself. First and foremost, make sure you're making the 5 daily prayers on time in congregation, correctly. And secondly, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you do the rawatib, sunan rawatib, before fajr, before and after dhuhr, after maghrib, after isha, and of course there are other details with regards to before and after asr. That's a discussion. 4 before asr, 2 after asr. That's a longer discussion. We can agree on fajr, dhuhr, maghrib, and isha. And of course 2 after Jum'ah, which many Muslims are heedless from. Or heedless regarding those 2 rak'ahs should be made in your house after Jum'ah, in your home. Tayyib. Once you have that locked down, your witr, your night prayer, and if you wish to do more with regards to duha, so on and so forth, Bismillah. Wallahu alam.
IR, Detroit, Michigan. How should a husband and wife treat each other according to the Sunnah?
Detroit, Michigan says, how should a husband and wife treat each other according to the Sunnah? Treat your wife in light of the Salah. Every time you think about doing something bad or saying something bad, just remind yourself that she puts her head on the ground for Allah. Remind yourself that her tongue is the tongue, and her lips, her mouth are those that recite the words of Allah. They say Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah. Think about her body as a body that is submitting to Allah. Just think about your wife as a believer. Think about your wife as your sister in faith. Think about your wife as what happens when your daughter gets married. How you want men to treat your daughter. Use sympathy and empathy. And respect her as a believing woman. Wallahu alam. And vice versa. Vice what? Vice versa. You're talking to a believing man. You can't talk to him like that. Their husband may be a friend of Allah. You don't know. Allah may wage war against you by disrespecting your husband or mistreating your husband, etc. So be mindful. Be mindful. How you talk to your wife, how you talk to your husband, what you do for your wife and husband. Starting fights and arguments, of course, isn't the sunnah. Many spouses, they do that. They literally magic wand. They just make an argument out of thin air. Everything's good. You're talking, then fight, argue. It's from shaitan, clearly. Wallahu alam.
HG, Fontana, California. If one of the wisdoms behind hijab is to differentiate between Muslim and non-Muslim women, what should we do if a non-Muslim woman wants to try on the hijab?
If a non-Muslim woman wants to try on the hijab, what should we do? If one of the reasons or one of the wisdoms for them to be known and distinguished, etc. If she wants to try on the hijab as a means of dawah, she wants to try it out, Bismillah. Try it out. It's not that hot. It doesn't really hinder you from that much you want to do unless you want to be, naked, wearing, skin tight, see-through clothes. But it doesn't hinder you from going outside and doing this and being a mother and walking, etc. It doesn't stop you. It may look good. You may feel good in it. You may feel modest and wholesome and clean. That I'm walking down the street and every dog, Tom, Dick, and Harry is not wagging his tail and sticking out his tongue, whistling at my body, seeing every square inch of my body. Try it out. You may feel a sense of honor with hijab. You may feel closer to Allah, etc. So if that's the purpose, alhamdulillah. But tell them and warn them is that if you put on the hijab and it feels good and it looks good and you realize that it isn't that bad, it really isn't that hot, it's another proof against you on the day of judgment if you don't become a Muslim. It's another argument against you. You can't say that you didn't know about Islam, or Islam was too difficult, or Islam was a religion of terrorists, etc., etc., etc. So that's one thing, right? And of course, much can be said with regards to Muslims being the trendsetters versus Muslims following and the trends being set for them. Long style. And the same applies to the hijab with regards to polygamy. It's no different. It's much more than just a piece of fabric. It's much more than just covering your body, but it's a mindset. And once they get you in their way of thinking, you're done. They can take you and pull you any way they want to. They can lead you around willy-nilly with regards to modernity and balance and tolerance, etc., etc., etc. And the beard is no different. It's much more than just, it's more than that. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. And this is why we see so many Muslim women, unfortunately, they don't wear hijab. They don't care. They have no shame, no shyness whatsoever. Just walk outside uncovered. And if you advise them or say something to them, you're the wrong person. You're the extreme person. You shouldn't be looking at me. It's just things are what? Topsy-turvy. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah.
HJ from Brooklyn, New York. Ustad, can the hadith regarding Sulaiman alayhi salam having 100 women refer to the ayah in Surah Sad where he said, for this brother is 99 Najah, and Ibn Qutayba says it's women.
Allahu Akbar. 99 ewes. We spoke in this khutbah. Surah Sad. The sheep, the female sheep. I only have one. He wants to take mine and steal mine. Does that mean 99 women? Allahu Alam. The rule is that the outward apparent wording of the Quran and Sunnah remains until it was proven with a need and a necessity to be interpreted to be figurative. So do the Arabs use the term you to mean a woman, a najah? Is that symbolic? Is that figurative? Do they say I have 5 sheep, I have 6 sheep? Wallahu alam.
SR Minneapolis, Minnesota. I found a Quran memorization school, but I'm worried about their aqidah. They mentioned aqidah awam. Is that bad?
Allahu alam, that's a vague statement. Aqidatul awam. And in most cases, it isn't a good sign. In most cases, they're probably talking about some other type of manufactured aqidah, hybrid, which isn't the aqidah of Islam, in most cases. But if you're going to study the Quran there, you go study Quran, and that's it. But if you have a Quran school or duksi or teacher that is upon the aqidah, then of course you study with them, of course. But for argument's sake, there's no one in your area. It's very difficult. It's very far. Study the Quran. I'm an objective student. I'm not here to discuss Allah's attributes. I'm here to learn Quran. That's it. We don't have to argue and debate. I'm here for you to learn Quran from you. Wallahu alam. Fadal.
I went to a masjid the other day to pray a janazah. Before the janazah, they told the brother, no, the body has to be outside the masjid. And they did not want to leave the door open or anything. And they just prayed the janazah inside the masjid, the brother outside.
No, the janazah should be in front of the imam. And it's lawful to pray the janazah in the masjid, as the Prophet ﷺ did. Wallahu alam.
The imam was behind the body, but the body was outside.
The masjid, the body should be in front of the imam, directly in front of the imam. No wall or shoe area or entrance should be dividing between the imam and the body. The body should be placed directly in front of the imam. Wallahu alam.
IZ Queens, New York. Assalamu alaikum. I love a certain righteous friend of mine. When I'm with him, I'm reminded of Allah, but I find myself doing more deeds around him. I'm afraid if some actions I do are so I can be close with him. So I want to know how to make sure my intentions are correct and change to love him for the sake of Allah, not just love.
Question is regarding a person being in a state of greater or higher piety around a friend. and I'm afraid, etc. This is no question from waswas. Anytime the word I'm afraid is used, or that is automatic waswas. I'm afraid, I'm unsure, waswas. Avoid that. If this person makes you feel closer to Allah, be their friend. Stay in their company. That's it. Don't overcomplicate things. Wallahu alam.
SA, London, UK. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. You've mentioned previously that a talib's sleep schedule varies. However, how many hours would you personally recommend for a student to sleep?
The sleep schedule of a student of knowledge varies. However, how many hours would I recommend? That's extremely difficult. Mathematically speaking, everybody is different. I would, if based off of what bare minimum, fair enough? So if you know that you can sleep for, let's say, just 4 hours, good, solid, quality sleep, undisturbed, tossing and turning sleep, whether you have a smart bed or not, whatever, smart pillow, good, solid sleep, and you can function for the remaining 24 hours without hurting yourself or harming yourself, without infringing or violating other people's rights, etc., you can do what you need to do, so be it. And if you need a bare minimum of 6 hours, so be it. If you need a bare minimum of 3, then that depends on you, with the condition that you can efficiently manage your day without falling asleep behind the wheel crashing, without falling asleep in the factory and your hand gets caught in the machine, without falling asleep during the class or the khutbah or the salah or anything else in which you are required to be there. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
AQ, Ontario, Canada. I'm currently possessed by jinns due to his sihr. What should I do?
Muslim says that they're currently possessed by jinn because of sihr. What should they do? May Allah help you. You should get help. Get help from your local masjid, the imam of the masjid, who knows the Quran, who's pious imam, inshallah, righteous imam, and have him recite over you. Or if it's a woman, have her recite over you, not a woman imam, meaning a sister who knows the Quran, and perform the prophetic ruqyah. You yourself do the ruqyah upon yourself. Don't allow it to fester, but get help immediately. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Make a lot of dua, and don't stop fighting, don't quit, don't give up, no matter how challenging the situation may be. Wallahu alam.
AA, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Assalamu alaikum. For a woman who will have a procedure while on menses, what is her ruling in terms of prayer if her bleeding is prolonged because of the procedure?
So our last question tonight, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, with regards to a woman who's getting surgery or a procedure, and her menstruation, her cycle, her performing the prayers, and so on and so forth. It's, inshallah, very simple. You go with your normal cycle, and after you have the procedure, you have that bleeding, which isn't menstrual bleeding, you stick to your normal cycle. Even if you're bleeding for the entire month, you stick with the days and the time which are known to you. And if you don't have a normal cycle, then you stick with the signs with regards to how you feel, the hormones, the pains, the aches, etc. And if you can't distinguish, then you go with your family members and your relatives with regards to being synced with your mother, your daughter, your sister, other women that you're around. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Jazakumullah khairan. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.